Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be joined today by Andrew Pitcairn of the Pitcairn Family Office. Thank you so much, Andrew, for your time.
Liz, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And I'm
Of
looking forward
course.
to some of these questions.
Of course. Andrew, I want to start, we've seen that the term family office has often been misused and overused. So as the expert, we want to ask you, what is a true family office and how you identify those are misusing the term? In other words, what is the amount of wealth necessary to form a family office?
Sure. Well, I think that there's several answers to that question. And let me back up a little bit by just saying, too, I think that the family office definition is growing and evolving even as we speak right now. And so, different people certainly have different definitions of how they view their own family office or what they think family office means, or even what family office services are defined as. So it's a pretty broad spectrum. I would say, looking back 100 years ago in 1923, when my grandfather and his two siblings formed our family office, they usually start with something like investments and tax and estate planning. And that's pretty much the normal. I mean, those are the things that families usually start off needing. And I think one of the things that we have learned specifically over the years is that there's more to family office and family office services than just worrying or just focusing on those technical things. Technical things, like I just said, investments and estate planning and taxes, reporting. The other side of that is the family itself. And how do you deal with the growing family, multi-generational family needs when it comes to making decisions around philanthropy? How do they come together as a family and multiple families members and have effective decision making around shared assets? How are they raising responsible stewards of inherited wealth? And how are they cultivating family members to be entrepreneurial and to understand the responsibility to give back to society? So I tend to view true family office services like Pitcairn as looking at the family as holistic as possible, as not just a portfolio, but really as family and humans. And what does it take to mesh those two things together? The needs they have on the technical side of things and cultivating the EQ side of who are these people outside of the family system? Who are they individually? And what is their responsibility as stewards of wealth?
Amazing. And talking about that evolution of the family office, we've recently experienced a lot of market uncertainty, recession fears, and failures within the banking system. What are some sectors or industries that families are more focused on right now? What is their perspective in the current economic scenario?
It's a great question. And, I'll give a similar answer, at least beginning answer, to what I said before. It's evolving all the time. If you talk to one family, they're interested in healthcare. You talk to another family, they're interested in fintech. Another family, they're interested in, public markets, if you will. I don't necessarily know that there's a wrong answer. What I would say is that a lot of families early on lack discipline around their investment philosophy. And I think it really, really is beneficial to think through what you are trying to accomplish, who you're trying to benefit, and what your long-term vision is, and how you can implement and stick to your long-term vision. And that is really, really important when markets get tumultuous. When you see things like bank failures and the markets itself in retraction and the uncertainty of the future, people tend to want to shift gears and shift out of their long-term philosophy or investment policy statement. One of the real benefits about having professionals help guide you in that area is keeping you on track, calming you when your emotions are getting the best of you, when you're not sure what you should be doing, when you're questioning decisions that you've put in place before. I think having people beside you that have weathered the storm is immensely, immensely beneficial to achieving your long-term strategy. So I don't know that there's one answer, Liz. I think that there's lots of different passions that people have in the family office and investment world. And I just think that a lot of thoughtfulness should be put into what we're trying to accomplish and what the long-term strategy is and how you're going to stick to that strategy when times get rough.
That's a great lead to my next question. This whole entire idea of the long-term strategy, which is, if you've noticed any recent trends in wealth preservation and growth from the families that you're serving.
So, it's such a great question. And when I hear a question like that, Liz, I usually think, what are the strategies around investments? What are the strategies around estate planning? What are the strategies around passing down tax efficient wealth? And again, those are part of a broader conversation. But if people want to really think about long-term generational sustainability and generational success, you need to think outside of just those things. You need to think about the health of the family. Because statistically speaking, most families make the money in the first generation. They spend the money in the second generation. And by the third generation, it's all gone and they're starting over again. And that is mostly not because of poor investment results, not usually because of overspending, not because of poor planning. It is usually because the family does not find a purpose, the family does not stay aligned, and the family fractures. And that dissipates the wealth much quicker than any investment deliverable can possibly do. So I think it's really important for families to find ways to work together, to play together, to make a difference together. And ultimately, when families grow to be such a size that they're no longer unified or cohesive, that families find a way to get along and be connected, whatever that might mean. And connection means different things as families grow. When you have 10 people in your family, it's very different than 100 people. When you have 100 people in your family, it's very different than 300 people. And I just think that families should be honest about where they are in the family evolutionary cycle and act accordingly. Too many families that have 300 people all want to sit around and think they should all think the same, feel the same, want the same, and have the same needs. And it's just not so. So I would say if you really want to have multi-generational success and longevity, you need to think about how to deal with the family emotional aspect of family wealth.
This is all very interesting, and I would love to stay here and chat for longer than the few minutes that we have. So, to learn more for those of our audience that want to connect with you and your team, how can they do so? How can they be part of the Pitcairn experience?
Sure, absolutely. Always happy to talk with anybody, even if it's simply to be a resource. Like I said, we've been a family office now for 100 years. So we've been through the ups and downs, and we're happy to share with people the lessons that we've learned along the way. You can reach us, anybody from our firm, at www.pitcairn.com. We're also very active on LinkedIn. Our LinkedIn note is Pitcairn. And we also have another LinkedIn profile, Pitcairn Family Office Services, as well. You can look up both of those on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out to even me. I'll give a real quick email address for you all. It's ad.pitcairn@pitcairn.com. And Liz, I'm really, really thrilled to see you. I'm glad that you're doing so well. And thank you again for having me on this interview. Anything I can do to support you in the future, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Likewise, we look forward to staying in touch and seeing you in Newport this summer. So we'll definitely be there for a few conferences and events. So for those of you that want to learn more about the Pitcairn experience, we'll leave the links below. And thank you again, Andrew, for your time.
Thanks, Liz. You take care.